What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Welcome to Texas Podcast. Thank you for all the day ones, all the new subscribers, all the likes, all the feedback, all the comments. Thank you so much, man. It's greatly appreciated. I want to touch up on this little comment right here from B. It says, "What if the family knows the truth and seen the doc, but he is telling you what you want to hear?" Noel, I've been a loyal subscriber and I'm still going to rock with this channel, but now this is coming off as obsessed or fatal attraction, in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna answer that real quick. If his family knows, then it would make it a lot easier for him to come out. Okay, then he would have nothing to hide. If his family knows the whole details of what he went through, he would come out with no problem and let you know, hey, look, this is my story. That's what I went through. Okay. And as far as telling me what he wants to tell me, he can't tell me the only thing that he can only tell me is the truth. That's the only thing he can tell me is the truth. And as far as the obsessed and the fatal attraction, well, if you've been since the beginning, then you must have joined to know the truth, right? You want to know the truth. After what I've been through, uh, yes, I want to know the truth. And I'm pretty sure everybody else does. Everybody else wants to know the truth. What's going on, V? Everybody wants to know the truth. I got reached out by Crystal Mendenhall. I hadn't been in communication with her for maybe it's been a minute since I've been in any kind of communication with Crystal. Last night when I was going to bed, she emailed me saying she has some new details. She had been reached out. I don't know by who, what new information she has or details. I don't know. But she said she wanted to do a live Friday. So I don't know what new details she has. I don't know who she's been reached by or because I know she's a busy woman and she has kids and she has a life and she replies late at night and by the time I'm no, the new person is there's no reason to doubt the new person. The new person is going to tell the truth. And now that I guess I don't know why would Crystal Mendenhall reach out? What's going on, young blood? Uh, so I don't know who Crystal's been reached out to by, but she said she has some new details. This new person has no reason to lie. Like I said, he can either say, hey, you know what? Hey, Mark wasn't doing it. Or Mark was. What's going on, Texas? No, 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 but it is young blood. But see, B, we're already at this point. Everybody wants to know the truth, right? Everybody's heard everybody else's point of view. We can't hear Mendenhall's. We can't hear JG's. We heard Hips, Mark, Youngblood, Other people, who else has been there? Other people that have been there. So we can't backtrack. I mean, we can't be saying, "Oh, no, no, this guy, he's only going to tell you what you want to hear." He's gonna have to tell whatever he has to tell to his family, to his wife. Because if his family knew everything about the documentary, he wouldn't be so hesitant to tell his whole story. He doesn't want the spotlight on him. He doesn't want the spotlight on him. If his family knew, man, that would make it a lot easier. That would make it a lot easier. If his family knew, that would make it a lot easier. Then he wouldn't have nothing to hide. I wish and I hope his family knows. That'd be a lot easier. That'd be a lot easier. But maybe it takes a victim to reach out to another victim, or a family member of a victim to reach out to another family of a member of a victim, and let them discuss. Because eventually everything's going to come out, man. Everything's going to come out. Everything that's people try to hide in the dark and in the closet, it's going to come out. I understand the dude, you know, he's been keeping it, or let's just say he hasn't been keeping it a secret. Everybody knows in his family, but I highly doubt that. I think they know that he was incarcerated for some time, but they don't know the whole full extent of what he went through. I don't know. I don't know who Crystal got reached out to by, but she says she has new information. I don't know if yeah, yeah, I understand, V. You know, that's the thing. This new guy can come out and say Mark wasn't doing that. Or he can come out and say Mark was. So we can't just stop right now and be like, oh no, we can't. We got, you know, I might owe Mark an apology. I mean, we need to know the truth. I mean, it's gonna, I don't know what details Crystal got, but if she already has details of certain things, then I don't know. I guess the Jack's gonna be out the box. Cause she's told me before, way before the first interview that I did with her, that's a couple of months back. And I haven't been in contact with her since. I haven't been in contact with her since. I haven't asked her for no interviews or asked her if she wanted to do any interviews or anything like that. Because I'm like, maybe she just don't want to talk about it. So I left her alone. But even since then, she told me she had been reached out by attorneys, by icons of people on Facebook. I mean, y'all got her Facebook Messenger. I mean, I think she put it on the video. A lot of people have messaged her on Facebook. So I don't know what new information she has. Maybe somebody's reached out to her and said, "Hey, I don't know. Maybe Jonathan Schwartz or somebody on that production team reached out to them. I don't know." But eventually everything's gonna come out. You know what I mean? Everything's gonna come out. Everything. Yeah, he did. Dante's the one that gave me Crystal's information. Well, he's the one that gave her my contact number because she contacted him first. And I guess it was a conflict of interest to, try to interview her. So he gave her my information and she contacted me and we've been in contact ever since. But I haven't been in contact with her ever since, but so ever since the 3, 4 months back, I think, when she did the interview. And ever since then, she said people have always been getting in contact with her. I don't know who's been getting in contact with her or who's telling her what. But all she said was like, she got some new details, and if it's possible, if she could do a live with me on Friday. I'm like, yeah, just let me know when, because I know she works and her schedule. I think she works night shift. I might be wrong. I, I might be wrong, but I know she likes to do interviews in the morning because she's getting off of work in the morning. So I would assume that if she's getting off of work in the morning, she works night shift. I might be wrong, but I don't know. So whenever she texts me a time on Friday, then we'll do the live. I'm a, Young Blood's going to be on there. She's going to be on there, and if we go from there, because it's going to come out. Whoever this guy is, uh, I don't, it's gonna have to come out because it's just another side of the story. And that way, when we get the clarification, then maybe I won't be looking so much as an obsessed fatal attraction type of guy. But you have to understand, I've been drugged through mud, man. I've been drugged through mud to just give up and say, you know what, man, we're at the goal line. Uh, no, everybody that's tuned in from the beginning wanted new information. Hey, you got, any new news stories, anything about New Mark? that's a that's a no, man. Just based off his credentials. No, it's just that's why I have a lot of stuff in the plans, right? But I just don't want to mix them all. I don't want to mix everything up. I want to get rid of this. I want to end it, and that's it. Go to the next, right? I mean, I have a lot of stuff. I have people that are still locked up. I have Bobby. I have my other homeboy from my side of town. He's doing the life. He's been in there since the early '90s. You know, I have a lot of good stories still waiting, but I just don't want to mix them up because it's two different audiences. It's two different audience. It's going to be all in the same, I guess, prison genre, but you want to back away from it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, booty bandit is not my expertise. I mean, but I can't just quit and be like, oh, no, no. Just based off his credentials. His credentials, you know what I mean? Yeah, see, that dude Coco. He got a he got sold by all types of prison gangs. You know what I mean? I mean, he's waiting on to tell his story too. But I mean, I'm interested in Coco's story because he mentions a lot of prison gangs that you're like, man, what? I didn't know them people were into that type of stuff. Yeah, that's why we need to get to the bottom of this and just end it. You know, whatever happens, happens, and move on. Because I don't want to be uh, mixing up the stories. Because I know once this Mark saga's over with, uh, people are going to leave, right? You expect that. So that's why after every battle, both sides have to rebuild. Every side has to rebuild. Once I finish with this, you have to sit back and think and brainstorm. Okay, what's next? That's over with, done with. Move on. It's that simple. You move on. End it. You get the justification. You get the clarification, and you move on. Right. That's it. And you move on to the next topic. You can't just leave this open and leaving what ifs. See, young blood, my buddy Bobby, my buddy Bobby tells me the same thing. He's like, man, leave it alone, man. Yeah, but see, if you go to other platforms, all they do is talk. Fleece, all he talks is about busting cheeks. You go to Dante, it's about a third person talking about prison cheeks. Every other channel talks about prison cheeks. Fleece, all he talks is about cracking cheeks. You go to Dante's show, everything has to evolve around prison or somebody losing their cheeks taken or some tran. Everything, what's going on, it's almighty. Everything that you go to those two channels evolves around unmorally stuff. And they're not exposing it. They're more admiring it and promoting it. My end is like I'm exposing. I'm not promoting it. That's what people have to understand. That there's two. Yes, we talk about the booty bandit genre, right? But I'm not promoting it. I'm not encouraging that type of lifestyle. I'm basically speaking up against it, going against it, bring awareness, and exposing the people that are doing that. Did y'all see how many people look? Look, it's just not Mark. It's not just Mark. You got Uncle Ruckus. You got Uncle Ruckus. Let me see. You got Big Ox. You got Big Ox. I don't know what this guy. I don't know this guy. You got all these characters, man. I'm not promoting these guys. I'm exposing them. You see, there's two different things. Yes, it's the booty bandit genre. Yes, I talk about booty cheeks. Yes, I get that. But you also have to understand on what side I'm on. I'm on the good side or the bad side. I totally agree. I totally agree. I agree. That has, but talking about these two guys is just too easy. It's just too easy. But I do understand the audience. You know, they want to listen to something else. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh no, yes, I will, I will, because I have to. I mean, if I don't listen to the subscribers and the audience, man, y'all the ones that make the channel. Y'all the ones that tune in. So y'all the ones that give me the ideas and the motivation. Because I mean, Texas, you know, just last month, I think a couple of prisons, a couple of drones been spotted. You know, doing drop offs. A lot of stuff goes on in Texas. You just have to sit there and do the research. But see, these guys, nah, I am. I just don't. I just don't want the opposition to feel like, you know, that they're winning or that they're making me switch up my content. Uh, but I listen to y'all because I know V is a real person. I know Texas is a real person, and I've communicated with y'all. So I take y'all's advice. You know, it's not just like y'all are some trolls that don't exist, or I take y'all's opinions uh, in high regard. You know, and I respect y'all's opinion and advice. Because you know, there's a lot of people that tell you stuff here and what to do, but you've never actually heard their voice or had any kind of communication with them. And he's the real life Uncle Ruckus. And see, these are some characters. You know, I wish Hips would come back on and tell his story because I'm pretty sure Hips had a lot of interactions with these guys. But it's also hard, you know. It's also hard to get people from the state of Texas to do interviews. It's hard. It's hard. You know, no nobody really wants to sit in front of a camera and spill the beans. But they don't have to spill the beans. You know, just tell your life story. I mean, your testimony, and you don't have to incriminate nothing like that. But a lot of people, you know, if you see what's going on with No Jumper and all them dudes over there getting indicted, RICO'd, and Now he's going bankruptcy, or supposedly he's going broke, but it's probably all a facade. He's just trying to downsize and realize that it's too much of a headache. See, because a lot of my stories, still has a lot of stuff that I can incriminate myself in. A lot of my friends, so that's why I pick and choose certain stuff that I know it ain't like. But my expertise is being in the kitchen, cooking. That's I learned that from an older homeboy. I guess we all learn bad shit from older people. I'm my side of town from Dallas, Texas is the north side, and that's from Forest all the way to Northwest Highway. Yeah, that's the only reason. Yeah, that's my. Nah, I mean, let me see. I can tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I can tell you a story about a dude. Well, this dude, it's already been solved and everything. He already did his time for it and everything. There's one dude. I guess you could say he was an associate of mine, right? But he was a white guy. He was a white guy from Carrollton. He's a white dude, right? And I'm from the north side of North Dallas, which it's just a couple of distance. It's just, man, a couple of lights, and you're already from Carrollton. You're already in North Dallas. His thing was uh ice. That was his hustle. His hustle was ice. My hustle was soft or hard or the white. That was my hustle. White or hard, preferably hard, because that's what most of my customers were, hard. So we're trapping. I have a couple of rooms at the budget suites, and so does he. He has a couple of rooms at the budget suites off Northwest Highway and Loop 12. He got a couple of rooms there. So I have a trap at the Plantation Apartments. We get it introduced through mutual friends, older friends of ours. He got an older friend, and I got an older friend of mine that know each other. So that's how me and him became in contact with each other. Plus, during that time, the ice was picking up. Ice was, ice was booming in the early 2000s. Everybody, you know, hard is for certain people. Hard was mostly for already adults. Most of my customers were adults already. But when ice came around, and everybody, I seen everybody. I seen teenagers, kids, everybody and their mama was doing ice. That was the new thing in the early 2000s. So running Trap's house, people would come in, hey, you got some of that. No, I don't got that. I only got this and that. So I got tired of turning the money away. So this guy really didn't have a street crew with him. He had a crew with him, but it was like mostly like skateboarder type of guys. You know what I mean? Not no street type of dudes. He didn't have no street type of dudes to back his play up. So if he wanted to come to Dallas, he was going to be basically a lick for everybody else. But he teamed up with me. We just made a business. He had ice, and he had certain people that were like the heart as well. So it was a mutual. It was business. But he didn't have no stomp down dudes with him. I did. I had some real dudes, with notches on their belts. So we go to the budget suites. He gets a couple of rooms. I get a couple of rooms, and we start doing our thing at the budget suites. But anybody that knows, ice customers and hard customers are way two different type of motherfuckers. I'm used to slapping these dolphins around. You can't do that with the ice heads. You can't do that with the motherfuckers. You can't. Them motherfuckers want to slap you around. So you always got to be on point with the ice heads. It was a different breed. Them dudes were different. It was everybody was doing ice. So you had gangbangers. You had everybody. It was just a different breed. I'm like, man, how do you deal with all these fucking paranoid, talking gibberish? How do you deal with these folks, man? Like, because I'm dealing with crackheads. Crackheads are a whole different breed. Crackheads are docile. You can slap them around. Every few and then you'll get one that's, he'll stand up and be like, oh no. But most of them, they want that habit. But them ice heads, it's totally different. And I would tell him, like, you need to be careful, man. If you want one of these dudes to start serving your traps, you're gonna have to start paying them. Because they got to the point where he wanted us just to be chilling while he would be serving. So I'm like, nah, I gotta go watch my shit. And plus all the people that were coming into his uh his rooms were ice heads. They were always fucking jittery, and you can't trust them type of characters. And no longer than the week, he calls me to my room. He goes, "Hey man, they just kicked in my door, and at my other end, they try to take the safe. They couldn't take the safe because the safe was kind of heavy." He goes, "But I'm in the other room. I'm about to head over there. Can you meet me over there?" I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll meet you over there." So by that time, I don't know if anybody knows the budget suites. The budget suites are like apartment complexes. There's a couple of buildings here, a couple of buildings there. It's almost like a small apartment complex. So I was at one end, and he was basically at the other end. So by the time I go over there, I'm walking up the stairs, and I see some white toes, some white pale toes laying on the stairs. So I go up a little bit more, and there's some dirty ass white dude, right? Some dirty ass, like, white trash white dude. And he got a fucking hole in his chest, right? I'm like, fuck. I said, don't tell me this is what the fuck this is. So I go, I'm like, I already seen that somebody's there on the ground. It's like, man, I need to burn this. I need to get the fuck up out of here. First of all, I ain't supposed to be having this shit on me. So I go back to my room, and my phone's blowing up in the room. Woo, 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 woo. I pick it up. It's him. He goes, I got him. I got him. I'm like, what the fuck you want me to do? You want me? He goes, I need to get up out of here. I said, look, you're not gonna get me jammed up, bro. What you need to do is hang up the phone and dip. You already did what you had to do and dip. He dipped. He turns himself in because it's basically self-defense. The next day, I get a call from a fucking, a dope fiend. The dope fiend says, I'm outside, man. I need 100 piece. It's like around 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, man, I'll be out there real quick. So as I'm going down the stairs, because I never kept nothing inside the room. I kept majority of it in the car, in the stash. So when I'm breaking up the piece to serve him, the fucking cop behind me pulls up behind me. But crack is so, hard is so hard. You can just put it anywhere. So I was able to put it in between the headrest, man, the headrest and the fucking seat. The rest, I was able to put it back in the stash. But the reason they were coming, because they seen the fucking phone calls. The phone calls from his room going to my room. So I get picked up for not having my motherfucking ID. They take me to jail for not having ID. So I'm in Dallas County. I get in there. Since he turned himself in the night before, he's still down there in the book, and he hasn't even been booked in. He hasn't even been booked in. And, and he's down there sick, man. He's depressed. He's like, man, I just threw my life away. I'm like, man, that's the consequences of being on the street, bro. I mean, but see, that's why he wanted to, like, basically join forces, because he knew that his clientele was just too high risk. He had too much of a high risk clientele, and like I said, he really didn't have any friends. You know, as you can say, he didn't really have any shooters. And he got himself a 20 piece. He got 20 years for a murder, self defense. Because he said that when he went back to go check on the room, the second room where the safe was at, he said one of his girlfriends was in there. That she had got slapped around, and I guess the dude went downstairs to go get his buddy, and on the way up, this dude popped him. He popped him one time. Dude collapsed right there, but he popped him with the fucking 357. He got himself a 20 piece. I'm like, man, hey. But see, I can recognize these plays, so I'm like, I seen his clientele, and I seen that I'm like, nah, we can't be around this dude, man, because we're gonna get ourselves uh we're gonna end up doing something that's not gonna benefit us. And at that time it was just him giving me a cheaper price, vice versa. We would give each other cheap prices, but so it wasn't like no really beneficial relationship. It's not like he was paying me or something. No, it was just but I also seen that he was trying to. In other places, they would have probably charged this dude for protection. You know what I mean? But I wasn't thinking that high or far. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've been most of my experience, man, is on the streets, man, with money and violence. I've never been a dope fiend, but but them stories, I made the mistake, man. I made the mistake telling these type of fucking stories to my older son, and that's why I was like telling stories, man, war stories and then you just basically plant ideas in their fucking heads. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this shit's possible. No, I had friends. See, like I had friends that were from the Valle, and they were from my neighborhood, my gang, my neighborhood gang, and they would do that. They would pay people $900, $1,000 to bring a carload from wherever they were at all the way over here. It was a couple of $1,000 back then. They would pay people a couple of $1,000 just to bring them. You just drive and bring them over here. They were already crossed. It's better. It's and see, I got another story. My first baby mama. All right, she. You could say she was a ghetto bitch. So she was cool with with all the, I guess, all the other ghetto bitches around there. You know what I mean? One day she tells me, "Hey, my homegirl is having problems." She says her man's walking around in the dark, all iced out, with the kitchen knife. I'm like, and what do you want me to do about this? She goes, no, just take me over there if I can go pick her up and let her stay over here a couple of nights. I'm like, nah, because if she's with an ice, then most likely she's smoking ice, and I don't need them type of people over here. All right. So her friend keeps on blowing up the phone, and what made me tell her to just not pick it up no more is that she started describing him. Right? He's like, no, he got uh, a big old TS tattooed on his chest. Once she told me that, I had already been to prison. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to deal with that shit. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If he's over there walking around in the dark, all iced out, Shit, what the fuck? I want to get myself involved with that. And it turns out that that guy was, I guess, the main the main speaker for Dallas because he got indicted like in 2006. So once I seen, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, man, if I would have involved myself in that shit, man, that guy would have probably gutted me up. That's why you got to know how to maneuver on these streets and pick and choose. Be like, no, that ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. And then once I found out years later that he got indicted, reading the newspapers, I'm like, man, that's the same guy. Because he got indicted like in 2006 from West Dallas. He's in the federals right now. And I'm like, man, that's the same dude. I'm like, but see, that the drugs don't pick and choose. They don't discriminate. Drugs don't discriminate. And I mean, see, when I say I've been in the streets, I've been in the streets, man, where I met different fractions of different gangs, you know what I mean? But I've always met them. I've never met how can I say, a gang member. I've always met them when they're on drugs. And the only reason I meet them is because they come to the trap. And that's how you know who's who. Because I've had few of them. I've had one uh, come to my traps and throw his family name away, his weight around, right? Like, and I'm like, bro, over here, I don't. With all due respect, this is blast over here. You know what I mean? And my homeboys, they want to pack him out. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not gonna do that. Because my homeboys were younger. I had a couple of older ones. I'm like, nah, nah, nah. Let the dude make it. He's high. He's out of his mind. Let him. And then I see his brother in the county jail. His brother is hanging around with my homeboy from the streets. All right. And I'm like, that's your brother, right? He goes, yeah, he told me, man, that he went to your trap over there. I'm like, yeah, man. He goes, I appreciate that, man, for now, sometimes he gets out of line, he gets disrespectful. I said, no, worry about it, man. It's cool. My homeboy would always walk around the county saying, hey, my padrino, my padrino. And he would follow this dude around all over the place. Right. To each his own, you know what I mean? That's him. Cause he from where I'm from, it's I have from different organizations. My neighborhood is people choose different, paths. But at the end, it's from the same fucking neighborhood. So it's wild. And that's the same thing as for my example. My biggest enemies on the streets were my own homeboys. I mean, my own homeboys that I grew up with. Because when you grew up with homeboys, and then as you get older, you get your own crew. You distance yourself from the people you grew up, because they're the people that you were growing up with. They're still getting high. They're still doing this. They're on their path to become dope fiends. So you distinguish yourself from the ones you met. But since they're from the neighborhood, you see these guys every day at the store, or you see them everywhere, right? Because they're from the neighborhood. even through you don't associate with them no more, but you know, you were one. They're they're from the hood, they're from the neighborhood, and it's fucked up, because most of them, we shot at each other. Some of us even have a family with each other, and we've shot at each other like enemies, and it's like fuck. But it's wild. So that's why I don't want to mix up too much stuff. You know what I mean? Like right now we're in the booty bandit saga. We want to put an end to that booty bandit. And whatever happens to him happens to it. And whoever promoted him, they're going to be partially blamed because they're the ones that promoted and encouraged it and brought it to the masses. And it's wild, man. Because the other day my uh, my son takes off running. Right, he takes off running out the house. I'm like, oh, he's probably arguing with his baby mama or something. I don't know. So I don't pay it no mind. And he comes back about 30, 40 minutes later. He goes, nah, man, I thought my cousin had got shot, but it just grazed him. It just grazed him, right? His cousin, he's not my blood cousin. He's not like my nephew or anything, right? But it's on his mom's side. It's on his mom's side. So it's his cousin on his mom's side. But I know the dude's dad. I know the mom and the dude's dad. The dude's dad went to prison because the Dallas SWAT tried to kick in the door and he shot the cop with the shotgun. That's why in Dallas, he was one of the reasons they started not kicking in the doors. Because before, man, the motherfucker would just come in and kick your shit in without any kind of shit. They would just say DPD and just start bamming it in. Bam, bam, kick your shit in. But what he did, the gang unit task force went in there and he shot him. He shot two of them with the shotgun when he first came in. They didn't die, but they lived. He went to prison for he went to prison for like, I think they gave him 45, but he ended up doing like 15, 20. He got out. He's the, and my son tells me, man, he goes, man, these young dudes, my son's 20, right? But I've I'm proud enough to, I've given him enough knowledge, to save his life, not pay attention, don't go out there looking for trouble, he tells me, he goes, man, these little guys are wild. I'm like, why? He goes, man, these little guys, they be Instagramming each other, right? Like say me and you got beef. They wanna get on Instagram and they wanna start fucking beefing with each other online so they can get so mad to be like, man, I'm pulling up right now. I'm pulling up. They wanna, these young dudes wanna film themselves doing this type of shit now. They wanna get online with each other and bump. And I said, what is bump? He goes, he goes, yeah, that's what they call it. They want to bump. I said, oh, so they want to bump their gums. Once they bump their gums, they get so amped up. They're like, man, pull up, drop the Addy, right? I'm like, these young dudes are fucking wild, man. It's like, and sure enough, man, these young dudes from South Dallas went over there, shot him outside in front of his grandma's apartment complex. And I'm like, man, they didn't shoot him, but just grazed him. I'm like, man, what kind of games are y'all playing, man? What kind of games are y'all playing that y'all get on this Instagram or Snapchat or whatever Telegram y'all get on and y'all start bumping y'all's gum to each other that y'all get so mad that y'all want to pull up on each other. And it's not even. And I asked him, I said, what's the beef over? He goes, oh man, it's because his cousin and his crew supposedly sold some switches off in South Dallas or something, and they uh they got into it. Supposedly two people lost their lives, and I guess them people from South Dallas wanted to get their get back. So I'm like, man, you stay away from them dudes, man. He goes, nah, man, I just went over there because he called me. I thought I was gonna have to take him to the paramedics or something. I'm like, you stay away, man. Don't, even if he picks, he calls you to take him somewhere, you try to avoid him, man. It's sad to say that, he's your cousin at this point, but at this point in time in his life, he's like a hot potato, and God forbid that, bullets don't have a name and that they see you, you go pick them up, and it just happens to be that they're right then and there, watching him and ready to unload, and you just happen to be there. So, sometimes, I know he's your blood, man, but right now he's putting himself in a predicament that you don't want to be in that predicament, man. You don't want to get caught up in that crossfire. You already see that he got grazed. This is a couple of days ago. So if he got grazed, eventually, man, somebody's gonna hit their target. Yeah, it's and the people like the understanding of working for the see back then we didn't know. Back then there was no such thing as cartels. Maybe there was, but it wasn't. That was more in the news. You know, we just need these dudes as the plug, as these dudes were like, I mean, we're just regular fucking dudes. You know what I mean? They were just from Mexico. I don't know. They were these dudes from Mexico. They would show me placas judiciales. They would show me identification cards of Mexican federales. He goes, you see, man, that's how we can come fly back and forth. So I don't know if these guys were really part, you know, but these guys, see, when I say working with them, it's two things, you're either a part of them or you're working with them, right? The way we would work with them, they would come and give us packages on consignment, right? They'd be like, here, what do you need? And they'd be like, here, take 50, take 100. And it was always on consignment, no credit. It was always credit. Here, take it. We didn't have to come up with half of it or a quarter of it. No, these dudes knew that we were good for it. And they'd be like, here. But as soon as you get something, call me. The good thing is that they would trust you, but the bad thing is that they would be calling you every 30, 40 minutes. Well, it seemed like every 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, you got anything? Yeah, well, I'll meet me somewhere if I can get that. Whatever it was, until it was paid off. But back then, man, things will move like hotcakes. Especially if you have people like going towards St. Louis, Shreveport. Once again, if there's any officers out there, man, I don't participate in that type of stuff, officers. As far past, you know, that's just everybody has a, it just ain't no different than the gangbanger or committing crime and you know going to prison and coming out and telling his story. A lot of us, there's different, you know, on the streets. You can gang bang and go to prison for claiming a neighborhood. You know, it's like California and Texas are two different things. They're two different things. In California, they're going to go to prison for their neighborhood or for their gang. In Texas, we don't really care about our neighborhood that much. You know what I mean? Yeah, we do, but it's not like, oh, we're gonna die. Oh, you can't come over here. No, no, no. We're more we're following the money because you can go to East Dallas and post up, or you can have somebody in West Dallas and post up. So you can have somebody from all the way from South Dallas or West Dallas posting up in North Dallas. You're just gonna go wherever the money's at. And if you have an acquaintance there, it makes it even better because now you can blend in and be like, yeah, I know so and so, man. Oh yeah, oh. But that's my thing. My thing is the streets. I mean, anything that revolves around the streets, as far as money wise, and the shit, the best deals were from Dolphins. Dolphins nighttime special. Shit, I would make a killing sometimes, man. They would come and just. I mean, I got another story of this dude, man. He's an older homeboy, right? He's basically the one that showed me how to do everything, right? And but he's a scandalous fucking scheming, plotting motherfucker. You know what I mean? But he got a lot of heart. You know what I mean? And he showed me the game. He showed me from A to Z, and he showed me how to be a cook. He showed me, I mean, the raw deal of it. How to be a leader. He showed me. He showed me. You know what I mean? I give him that. I give him that. But at the same time, it has to be a point where the student becomes the master. You know what I mean? And that's where me and him fell off. He wanted to keep me under. He wanted to keep me under him. He wanted to keep me under him because I controlled everything for him. I kept everybody else in line. Everybody else, you know, the way I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna pay you. I was gonna show you how to become the same way I was. I didn't want you to become a dependent on me. I wanted you to that when I went to the fucking Foot Locker, that the person that was with me could have that same feeling and pull out their own money and buy their own shit. So on this occasion, This dude, he was known. He was known. He was known for he was really known for being a jacker. He was a jack boy. He was known for that. Everybody in the hood knowing that that was his thing. He knew how to hustle, but he knew how to take it quicker, if it makes sense. Everybody and their mama knew that he was a jacker. Right. But he wouldn't, he knew other people, people that were above him, that was, it's like ex-military, ex-cop type of shit, man. These dudes were trained to do this type of shit. You know what I mean? And these guys were white guys. These guys that were doing this type of shit weren't no motherfucking, these guys, I don't know how he met these dudes or how he came across them, but he got tied in with these type of characters. And he made the mistake one day. He was some new guys started coming around all of us. All right. His mom was a coyote. So by his mom being a coyote, she knew a lot of players, right? A lot of paisas. She knew a lot of the players of who was doing what, who did what, who owned what cantina, who did what at cantina, who did this. She knew all types of shit. So my friend became friends with that guy because he knew the advantage you know, uh, of licks. So they hit a lick together. They hit a lick together, right? Comes out after they hit the lick, they go back to one of these fucking cantinas and they start drinking and they start having a good time and then you know, they start offering certain stuff of what they got to other people, right? So at this time they're at the cantina, they're having a good time, they're trying to get rid of the stuff that they got. Hey, we got this, this or what, with this price, it's good. They're trying to get rid of what they just got. So word gets back to the guy that they hit. Hey, there's these two characters over here, trying to pass your shit off or whatnot. So he gets word, he finds out that one of the dudes is the son of that lady. So now that guy's putting two to two, he's not too fucking stupid. He's like, why are you hanging around with this dude and y'all are trying to fucking, you know, uh, sell shit that belonged to me? So the dude told him, he goes, look, I know your mom. If you don't take care of it, if you don't take care of it, you already know what time it is. So at this time, man, I used to serve outside. I used to like being outside serving. I didn't like being inside apartments. I always wanted to watch who was coming and going. So I'm outside, doing my thing, and I see them pull up, and I, I I've seen them all. They would kick it with each other, so I didn't think nothing much of it. So as soon as they park, I hear a pop. I hear a lot. I hear a pop pop, right, and then I see the doors open. All the fucking doors just swing open, right, and I see the dude from the back seat. He gets out. He tosses the tool over a fucking little fence, right? Where everybody can get it. It's like it was right there. It was like, Mike, you should have just took it with you. You just threw it over the fence where somebody can just jump over the fence and get the shit. So I see this dude jump out the back seat. I see him toss it over the fence. So I'm like, why is the fucking, he's tossing out the fucking thing. And he takes off running. Right. And then I see my homeboy come out the front passenger. Man, he got a fucking fountain. A fountain. Just a fucking, a fountain. Just like how they got it in the movies. It's just like, it's just gushing out. And he's still talking and he's like, man, I don't want to die. I don't want to, you know, you know, I don't want to do this. He takes off his white shirt and he's able to, press it on his neck. Uh, but the only thing that saved this dude is that the apartment complex that we were at, right across the street, was the fire department. So one of my homeboys ran over there, started beating on the doors, all the lights. They turn on the lights. They go over there. They're like, "What's going on?" They're like, "Hey, somebody just got hit over there," and they hit him. The dude was in the back. My homeboy was in the passenger side, front passenger side. The dude was in the back. So the dude hit him from the back, like real close, and he lost his senses. He can't taste or smell. But the only thing that didn't cause his head to explode was that it was a hollow point. The hollow point, once it made an impact, it spreaded. So that being that it was so close quarters, so close of an impact, that if it would have been a regular tip, it would have gone through and made a bigger damage. Since it was so close. But since it was up close and there was a hollow tip, once it made impact, it expanded. To this day, he still has pieces in his head. And that didn't stop the dude. You 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 would think, man, you would think that after going through some shit like that, you would hang him up, right? You'd be like, nah, I ain't doing that shit no more, man. You know what? I'm gonna go get me a 9 to 5. I'm through with the streets, man. Fuck no, this dude went like, it's like, I guess he felt more like, I don't know, man. I guess he just gave him like, I don't know. I guess he's like, fuck, if I already went through that, then what else can I go through? So instead of discouraging him, it gave him more of a confidence to do more shit. Like, I guess it's like, fuck it, I already get my luck ran out that time. It happened. But I'm like, bro, it can happen again. You know what I mean? It can happen again. But you would think that something happening to you like that, a near death experience, you would kind of sit there and sit back and analyze your life and be like, man, fuck, maybe this ain't the right thing I'm doing right now. I got some stories from this character, man. You would think, man, like you would want to chill out. You know what I mean? Be like, nah, man, I'm through. I'm gonna take a break from a minute. No, hell no. I guess other people is different. Me, I would have probably been, man, hey, I'm through. I'm through, man. Y'all can have it. But him, on the other hand, it just gave him more courage. And perfectly, just this mother being out the hospital, bandages still over his head, putting in work. And that's why I'm like, I don't know. I already knew he was stupid from the beginning, but after getting hit in the neck like that, it just made him more. more stupid, or more careless. He just he just didn't care after that. But I'm like, bro, you still alive? You know what I mean? I'd be like, man, you're still fucking alive. But see that he the uh, the effects of it, you know, him not being able to smell, you know, one day, man, one day, I come into the trap, right? I come into the trap and the fucking apartment stunk like fish, man. Like it stunk bad, man. And I'm like, me and my homeboy were like, man, what the fuck is that smell? And and I can hear he's upstairs with the girl. And I'm like, what the fuck is that fucking smell, man? It was pungent. It was fucking horrendous, right? And I'm like, because it wasn't upstairs. It was basically like a loft. You know, it had a downstairs and an upstairs, but you know, it was just basically one fucking studio. And so I'm like, who you got up there? He goes, Vanessa. I'm like, who? Big Nasty. I said, you got Big Nasty over there? He goes, no, don't call her that. And there was this chick that, you know, I don't know, man. She was just a chick that just like getting passed around. And I'm like, you can't smell that shit. But then I remembered, you know, I said, this dude he can't fucking smell. I guess that's the disadvantage of that shit. You know what I mean? 'Cause when we went in there, we were like, man, what the fuck? And we were gagging, you know, what the fuck? And he couldn't smell it. He couldn't smell it. We'll be back here shortly. You know, we're going to get back on the Mark topic. Let's go get something to eat real quick. I'll be back.